Hey, what's crack-a-lacking, people? So yeah, I thought I'd just bring you a different video again today because I don't want to talk about the Game Awards stuff that's going on because yeah, I'd probably go flip mode and I'm not in the mood for going flip mode. So what I'm in the mood for is just another little fun video that I thought, I'd just pump out because, I like doing these videos. These are the type of videos that I really like doing, and sometimes I could do too many general discussions. But yeah, with this video, I want to talk about sequels to games that I would like. But these will be sequels to games that have never had any other game released under its name. So basically, there's only one of this game existing. Now, I'm gonna rule out if this game has had some HD ports, or some re-releases, but it's pretty much exactly the same game. But this is literally the only entry in a series. So, as an example, sequels that you can't have are any of the Zelda games as an example. So if people wanted to put a Link to the Past, I want a Link to the Past sequel, well, you can't, because technically, number one, there's already other Zelda games. So Zelda as a franchise has had multiple entries. And number two, Link to the Past has technically had two sequels. You've got Link's Awakening, which is the same Link from Link to the Past, and you've had A Link Between Worlds, which is also kind of a sequel to Link to the Past. I can't, as an example, put Panzer Dragoon Saga on here because, once again, we've had other Panzer Dragoon games, and also Panzer Dragoon Orta, even though not a direct sequel to Panzer Dragoon Saga, it still has, in some respects, sequel story parts to Panzer Dragoon Saga. Some people might say, I'd love a sequel to, let's just say, the Sands of Time, Prince of Persia Sands of Time. Well, we know that there was a sequel to the Sands of Time, which was The Warrior Within, even though there is no Sands of Time 2. But there's also been other Prince of Persia games. Can't have a sequel to the World of Warcraft. There's been other Warcraft games, and as another example, you can't have a sequel to Super Mario World. There's already Super Mario World 2, and once again, the Super Mario series itself has had multiple entries, so that rules out any of the 3D Super Mario games as well. You can't have a Super Mario Sunshine sequel in this list because there's just been other Super Mario 3D platformers. So these are games that literally have only had one entry ever. There's no other part of those IPs that stretch out anywhere else, which makes this list a bit more difficult to pick games from, because most games become at least franchises with multiple entries, but these ones have only ever had one. So here's my list. First off is a very recent game, and I loved it. I would also love a sequel to Astral Chain.
I've just arrived on scene.
Come on, we can't let anyone else get redshifted.
The Earth isn't being corrupted. It's being brought here, bit by bit.
Now, I think Astral Chain sold pretty well, but sales aside, I just think it's an amazing universe. I love the way it looks, I love the way it played, and a sequel to this show, I just love for it to open up even more. I loved all the police duties, and if that was expanded on with a bigger city and stuff like that, this would just be absolutely amazing. And I think Platinum Games themselves would love to do a sequel to Astral Chain. Another game we also had from Platinum Games is The Wonderful 101, only one in that series, but that's not in my list. I would choose Astral Chain over The Wonderful 101, even though I love The Wonderful 101. But yeah, Astral Chain 2, I would really, really love that game. Next up, we have Diddy Kong Racing. Now, yeah, once again, there's been a Diddy Kong DS, but it's exactly the same game, so it hasn't had any more in that series released from it. Any sequels or anything like that, it's still just Diddy Kong Racing. It's only really that one entry. So Diddy Kong Racing 2 I would love. I just think it's one of those little side series that Nintendo could do with other characters, you know, that they don't usually put into their game. You know, put Professor Egad in there as a racer, or Mallow from Push Blocks, you know, Pushmo, whichever you want to call it, or even Dylan from Dylan's Rolling Western. You know, these type of characters could populate this little spin-off series, and I think Diddy Kong Racing 2 once again has a lot of potential. Obviously Rare can do it now, but it doesn't mean anyone else can't. You know, you can still make a great car racer, and there's still some great developers out there that could do it. But Diddy Kong Racing 2 would be awesome, and yeah, you know, let's get David Wise back in on that soundtrack. The next game I would love would be Burning Rangers 2. Now, as you all know, I'm a huge Sega Saturn fan. You know, I loved Burning Rangers back in the day. Graphically, it was absolutely phenomenal on the Sega Saturn for what the Saturn hardware could do. Beautiful lighting. It has some great anime cutscenes. But yeah, Burning Rangers 2 would just be one of those Sega IPs I would love to see return. And I think, you know, with a modern engine, it could be a really, really fun game. It could look beautiful again with some gorgeous lighting, and you know, you will be able to almost fly around those stages the way the game plays itself. I used to love just darting around the stages and finding survivors. But Burning Rangers 2 would be absolutely awesome. Next game up would be Jet Force Gemini 2. Now, Jet Force Gemini is possibly my personal favorite N64 game. I just personally fell in love with it. The soundtrack to this day is the best on the N64 in my opinion, but I just love the concept of Jet Force Gemini just as a game itself, flying around the galaxy, going on different levels, and it was just an all-out shoot 'em up with some Metroid style backtracking in there as well. But just the action, being able to shoot the bugs in multiple places below off their arms and legs, the types of weapons, still have some of the best weapon sounds in any video game I've heard. But yeah, Jet Force Gemini is just a game I absolutely love, and I would kill for the sequel to it. And finally, I can't believe we haven't had a sequel for this game yet, but I would love a sequel to Skies of Arcadia. Give us Skies of Arcadia 2. Skies of Arcadia Legends, once again, doesn't count. Exactly the same game, just with a tiny little bit extra content, but it's literally still just the same Skies of Arcadia, so there's only been one entry for this entire series essentially. But Skies of Arcadia on the Dreamcast, just as an RPG, it's just fun, just pure adventurous fun. Vize, and Ike, all the characters in there, they were just, absolutely great to play and to watch and see the story unfold, to fly around the world in your pirate ship. it was just, you know, an absolute dream RPG from Sega, and even some of the Panzer Dragoon team, you know, once that team Andromeda was disbanded, went over and actually helped to make Skies of Arcadia, and I could see that in there when I was playing it. So, you know, definitely Skies of Arcadia 2 would just be just a dream, I think. You know, an absolutely phenomenal RPG that really, really deserves a sequel. But yeah, those are the games I've chosen. You know, of course, you know, I want to know your suggestions as well. Like I said, you know, they're only the rules of this is that there are only one game, you know, essentially released. You know, no spiritual successors or anything like that. Just one game, just released in that series. You know, pretty much ever to warrant a sequel. So yeah, you know, like I said, I gave some examples, you know, of other games that we couldn't chuck in this mix. But yeah, try and think of some games that have never had any other entry. I nearly put Xenogears on here as an example. I think we can put Xenogears in if you wanted to pick that, because Xenogears itself is kind of a standalone game. Even though you had the Xenosaga games afterwards, Xenogears itself has never really had a sequel with the same, you know, name. So Xenogears as an example is one that you could put in there, but that was just a random example. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. You know, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, leave your comments and I look forward to your replies. Take care all, and peace.